Welcome back. Thank goodness kids are going back to school, especially mine. A new report has revealed, though, the skyrocketing cost of private school fees are actually forcing some parents to forego buying a home.
So the big question, is private education really worth the cost? Let's go head-to-head on this with Nine Honey's Shelly Horton,
Hi.
and WSFM's Brendan Jonesy Jones.
Hello.
Hi, kids.
Now your kids,
Yes.
they've had a private education.
First one went in public school because I was just being cheap and I thought it'd be okay. Second one, private school, because I learnt from the first one. The third one, he's going through a private school which cost me a fortune. And so I have this thing now, I say to him, right, it's like he's auditioning, he's working for me. So I'm like the CEO, I look at his results and I say, mate, look at this. If you want to go to Bongwater High next year, then you better pull your finger out. So it's working for him. He got all C's at the end of last year.
No,
But all C's. You can get by in life on all C's. I don't tell
we
him.
have.
Yeah, see, I got chucked out of school in year 10.
Yeah.
My
To me,
dad.
a C is a fail.
That is not. It is not.
I'm Shelly.
Shelley, what are your thoughts on this? Look, I'm a private school kid. I'm a public school kid.
Yeah.
But my kids go to private at the moment. But I mean, anything can happen.
Anything could happen.
I mean, it is
Look,
expensive. Anything could happen.
I was Kingaroy State High.
Yeah.
You can't get more public school than
You're
Kingaroy
like full of
State
peanuts in
High.
education.
But
I don't know, Warhope High, mine.
You did?
My high school was so public, they knocked it down. It's no
So
longer
the
exists.
thing is, for me, it was more important about getting to university and working hard at university than in high school. I actually have a friend who made the decision to not send her kids to private school, but what she's done is she and her husband have put aside the private school fees each year and they've bought an investment property. So when the kids finish school, they will go to university, but they'll have an apartment to live in. And she said that makes more sense financially than spending it on private education when they're young. University is more
I
important.
suppose alternatively too, you could also use that money that you're saving on private school fees and get a tutor for your kids.
Or you
as
could
well.
buy a yacht. You can buy a yacht. My dad, when I got thrown out of the expensive private school he sent me to, he said, that was my yacht. You just wasted my
wasted it.
yacht.
Doesn't so much depend on the type of child you have. Like some kids will
I think so,
thrive
yeah.
in a public school system,
Yeah.
but others just need...
The thing that worries me, and I think that we'll end up having like a new movement against the discrimination between public and private school when it comes to the workforce, because why is it okay to have jobs for the boys? If you went to a certain school and have a certain handshake, why is that okay? It doesn't make sense. It should be going to the person who's got the best qualifications. So I don't know. I think that this might be something down the track that people really end up fighting against.
True.
Well, Flick kind of like leads us into the next topic we're going to discuss. I really do. You haven't read it, have you?
Do reveal what's going
You
on.
don't know what it is, do you?
I'm relying on you, Ali.
Well, just talking about jobs for the boys, because Australia's most sexist jobs have been revealed where it comes to the gender pay gap. And the worst is the legal profession, where men can pocket up to $619 more each week than their female colleagues. Shelley, I assume you're okay with this.
Oh yeah, I'm completely fine with this. Just give them extra. This is so complicated, and it's one of those things that I have to try and argue and explain it so many times. A lot of this comes down to women having to have babies and taking maternity leave and taking time out of the office. I think, though, once it is recognised that in this profession men are paid more, it needs to be brought back into line. If it's something where it's you need physical strength and things like that, there is a pay gap that seems to be more acceptable. When it's something like a lawyer where they can do it from home, they can bill the same amount of hours, I don't think it is acceptable. So I think we need to work out more about more men having paternity leave and things like that to even it out that way. But I'm sorry, once you identify that the gap is there, it needs to be addressed.
Jonesy, you wouldn't get paid nearly as much as Amanda, but
No.
do you
No,
think
I don't.
that
That's because she's way better than him.
She is that good, and
Yeah.
I just hide. I just hang on to her coattails.
Yeah.
And she gets paid. I don't know how much. I don't care about what people make. If someone makes more money than me, then I think good on you. But I don't understand why women get paid less than men. What are we in the dark ages? Why does that happen? That's crazy.
Because
like
the
David gets
patriarch-
lots more than you.
No, I don't.
I'd be picketing.
Not from 60. No, that's sweet
But
60
he's
minus
minus
money.
60
You
money.
can-
That's 60 money.
We
Ooh, 60,
talked,
that's money.
and
Deal at
he's
60
going to
money.
give me some of his. That's
Some
what
of
we've
his cash.
decided.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying.
Well,
you see.
maybe.
You
How
gotta do
strongly
some
he feels
theatre.
about this issue.
I feel very strongly about pay
Can't we all
parity.
just be like Russia and everyone gets paid the same? You know, in the good old days.
Communism. And we all wear grey.
$47.
And we all line up for potatoes. Now, how about there's some Chinese businesses giving their single female employees over 30 annual leave to go on dates. Shelly.
Look.
I maybe want to ask the question. You just said, look, go.
I'm so offended by this. So basically, this comes down to the Chinese culture of any woman over 30 who is not married is called leftover women. And so they're giving them time off to go out on dates so that, obviously, because they're damaged goods, they're going to need some extra time to go out on dates. I find this repulsive and offensive, and I don't think that there's anything positive about this. I just feel like it's just going to create more self-esteem issues, and it's horrible. Yuck, yuck, yuck.
Leftover Chinese women, but leftover Chinese, I love leftover Chinese. It just gets better. It does. When you first get it, and then when you get it the next day in the fridge, it's just so yum. What?
It was actually very smart that he deflected having to answer that question.
Yeah.
So, you know.
I love it.
I know, but I just feel like
It gets more power.
it's his
Have you
first
noticed it?
day here. It's my first weekend with him. And I've got to
now
put up
the
with him
last.
again on Wednesday.
Toby, you love it.
I do love you, buddy.
I love you, and I love you,
Yeah.
and I love Shelly.
Good to see
we
both
all
of you
just got
this
paid
morning.
in love equally. Thanks, guys.
Well, we're not getting paid again. Love again.
Yeah, that's all you get, buddy. Still to come, we're celebrating all things Australian, including